right? But this is the thing, Stoicism, it's not just a philosophy, it's like a practice. You've got to practice doing it, right? And the Stoics, they said, they had all these exercises and meditations and things you could do, and it's supposed to become more automatic. I'm too lazy for all that. So, what I'm going to do, right, I'm just going to get a tattoo that says you're an idiot, right? Because that's basically what you learn, right? You start out thinking, the instant knee-jerk reaction is like, the world is stupid! And then you think it through, and then you're like, oh no, I'm an idiot, right? So I'm just going to cut out the middleman. I'm just going to get a tattoo. So then the next time I'm getting upset about something, I'm like, oh, why am I so angry? Oh yeah.
The Stoics were pretty big on exercise, on practice, on what they called ascesis, the word that we get ascetic from, but which meant the sort of thing that, say, wrestlers had to do to build up their stamina and their technique. And they thought that this was something useful for us to do in relation to our thoughts and our emotions and our desires and aversions. So the Stoics developed a number of meditative practices. They also developed a lot of exercises. As we've pointed out before, they also would provide lists of sayings that they called dogmas, right? That were things that one ought to believe and one ought to meditate upon and then use when one ran into a difficult situation. For example, telling something, you are only an appearance and not what you claim to be when you encounter something that seems to be quite upsetting. Telling you that you ought to then spend some time to scrutinize it and see what the thing really is rather than reacting immediately. Michael isn't really lazy, but he pretends to be, and he's got this very funny idea of a tattoo that one could have on one's arm, and perhaps, you could have a little piece of paper to carry around that says something along the lines of, you are an idiot. And this could be, to a certain degree, helpful. Sometimes we do need very stark language like that to drive points home, and there are many things about which we are less than brilliant a good portion of the time, particularly when it comes to matters of our mind and our heart, our thoughts and our emotions. So being able to look down and be reminded of one's own fallibility, of one's own likelihood of getting things wrong when left to oneself could be quite useful. But I think you have to have the structure of the exercises and meditations and dogmata to assist that. Now, since Stoicism is a practical philosophy, it has to be practiced, and if we do, then we find that we do make some sort of progress, but it's incremental, it's by degrees, it occurs day by day, and the day is really, in many respects, the key measure for this. A common Stoic practice was to meet the day by thinking to oneself about the things that you were likely to encounter and how you might best handle them, whether they are temptations, things that seem to be pleasant or joyful at first but then might trip you up, or whether they're the things you already dread and are not looking forward to. And they would end the day with something like an examination of conscience, asking oneself, how did I do? Did I do well? Did I do poorly? Where did I make my mistakes? Where did I have my successes? And so if we do this sort of thing, we will make daily progress, with some backsliding probably, but less and less as time goes on, and eventually be happy.